Hello, I'm Hank, this is HankArt, and today we're going to make a drawing board that I can attach to a VESA arm mount on my desk because I want one and it seems like a fun project, and it is a chance to practice making breadboard ends, which I attempted to do on this prototype and screwed it up, and that's why I made a prototype. So I've got my very good friend Whitney on the camera today.
Hello.
We're going to be making this thing out of my last piece of yellow birch. Can I do this? It's hot.
This is totally safe.
Absolutely. I could take the stuff off the top of the pile first. It seems like a waste of time. Hey, we did it! Oh, as usual, this workshop is an awful mess. Ow. You see me tripping over stuff. Having to move stuff around to do any particular thing. But are you really making stuff if you're not making a mess? I think the answer is no.
It's a lot of boxes.
It is a lot of boxes, and they're almost finished. Watch out for an upcoming video on me making these. It's not like it's been cooking for a month and a half now. Try to do one video a month right now. Been trying to do one video a month for 3 months now, so it'll get better. This is yellow birch. This is a tree that grows all through the American Northeast. We are here in the Great Lakes region on about the westmost and southernmost area of its growing region, I think. I'm not an arborist. This is a relatively cheap wood. It gets used as secondary woods in like drawer sides and stuff a lot. I think it's incredibly pretty. I just like it. So we're gonna make a drawing board out of it today. How big do I want this thing to be? What did I make this one? Let's see. There's my tape measure. My tape measure is outside in the crate of gardening tools. Excuse me a moment. All right. I need a pencil. I'm all over the place. 22 by 16 is what I decided to do with 2-inch breadboard end. The panel, 18, 19, 20 is going to be 20 wide because we're going to have a 1-inch tenon on each side of the panel for the breadboard ends to go onto. So if this is going to be 16 wide, then I need 4 4-inch boards to glue up this panel. So let's do it. So what did we say? 4 inches, right?
4 inches.
4 4-inch boards. So that's 16 inches. Yeah. Easy peasy, so easy. You need to get 4 20-inch boards out of this.
What's that tool that just flew on the table?
This?
Yeah.
This is a Japanese style pull saw.
Ooh.
Unlike Western saws that cut on the push stroke, these cut on the pull stroke. And you'll see it's got two sets of blades. One for cross cutting. It's actually the side I use for basically everything. And one for ripping boards lengthwise, but I really prefer the table saw for that.
Very nice.
So what I am doing right now is I am trying to establish a saw kerf on the top and sides of my board that once I get the saw going, and it'll stay in that kerf and I'll get a straight cut. Well, that's less than ideal.
So what happened there?
Oh, the workbench and the table saw are not exactly the same height. The table saw is a little bit higher. I had this board spanning this gap and I had the end on the table saw. And when I clamped it down to the bench, that meant the board was bowed like this. So when I got this cut going, the kerf closed up on the saw. When I went to fix it, it broke. Not a big deal. Remember that 1 inch of either side of this panel is going to get hidden by another piece of wood that runs lengthwise. And as for this little chip that fell out, well, I think we can probably fix that with some CA glue. Let me do that. This is my CA glue after the bottle clogged up and then broke.
Hey, it still works.
Popsicle sticks. Very important. Any material that was useful at craft day in kindergarten is useful in the shop. That's way too much CA glue. That's fine.
What's that?
This is CA glue activator.
Oh.
CA glue is just super glue. It's cyanoacrylate glue. It sticks everything together, especially human skin. This stuff makes it dry in seconds rather than minutes. This will probably already be cured. Yeah.
Nice.
Ow. This side will be the back. All right, I need 3 more of these. I have a feeling we're not going to get this done today. That's okay. Eh!
It's a lot of accessories.
All right, let's see what we got. We now have 4 boards. Come over. Okay, we're gonna figure out how we like these. Let's see. Okay, let's see. It's gonna be that side up because it's got that blemish on the other side. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. What do you think?
I like it.
All right. We're gonna mark these with a triangle like that so we know which way they go. And then, rather than jointing these by hand, okay, how does this work? We are using the up-down method of jointing on the table saw, which I have not actually used before. In the past, I've just kind of trusted that my table saw blade was straight, which works well enough. It's not the most elegant method. So, the way this works is I've marked the edges that join together up and down, and I'm going to rip these edges on the table saw with the boards either up or down, depending on how I've written it out. And then if my saw blade isn't exactly 90 degrees, then those angles will add up and the panel will be flat. That's the idea anyway. We'll see how it goes. At some point, I'm going to make an explainer video about what the whole HankArt project is about. But my thought with this channel is, obviously, I'm a beginner. I've been woodworking seriously for just about a year now, and I'm still just getting into it. I don't want people to view this as a tutorial channel. This is not where you go to learn about woodworking. Think of this as like open shop time with a fellow student, and we're hanging out and working on our projects and talking about what we've learned. I might try to teach stuff on this channel, but it's going to mostly be by way of using teaching as a method of learning. I've heard that that's very useful, trying to explain something that you're learning yourself. Anyway, let's joint this panel. All right, so I ripped these to 4 inches. I've set my fence to just under 4 inches. Headphones first. Okay, so if we put our triangle back together now, these should now fit together perfectly.
Oh, your mom's calling.
Okay. Cut.
Okay.
Where were we? What were we doing?
I think the triangle.
Oh, I think we're ready to glue this up.
Okay.
So, what do we need? We need some clamping cauls. These are clamping cauls that are going to help to keep our panel flat as it dries. I'm covering them in plastic packing tape to keep the glue from sticking to them.
Do you know why they're called cauls?
I don't. That would be an interesting thing to find out. I'll look into it. A clamp in between. Rebuild our triangle. Glue rag. Do the monkey. What am I looking for? Looking for a coffee cup, glue water, glue. I've completely lost the plot.
Oh.
Okay, I'm good.
Good? Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
Sorry, I forgot who I was and where I was for a moment. We are going to glue up this panel. So let's do it this way. Glue, please.
So it doesn't really take much glue, huh?
I am still getting good at judging how much glue a certain joint needs. But no, these panel joints don't tend to need much, but I'm still at the point where I feel like I'm erring on the side of more rather than less. This nozzle is clogged. It's a floor wax and a dessert topping. Alright, I'm just going to do it the finger method. Yeah, that is not enough glue. Oh, let's do this. Use that as a glue palette.
About how long does it take wood glue to dry?
Well, I wouldn't want to leave a joint like this any less than 4 hours. Overnight is better. I am being very messy because I want this panel to glue up. I don't want to worry about it having any gaps. I've got a way to deal with gaps, but the goal is no gaps to begin with.
So how do you deal with the gaps?
There are a bunch of tricks. You can use commercial wood filler, or you can make your own wood filler out of glue and sawdust, which can be convenient because it lets you match the filler exactly to the wood you're using, because you can use the sawdust of the wood you're using in the project. Yeah. This is always the most awkward part.
Yeah, it seems like a very touchy process.
Okay. Damn it. This is what the big woodworking YouTubers won't show you. All right, I'm gonna not tighten these super tight. I'm gonna tighten them just enough to keep everything aligned. And these I'm cranking down.
It's quite a hand workout.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm just gonna wipe off as much glue as I can now, so that's what I'll have to clean up later. That's all I'm just getting. Trying not to grind it into the grain of the wood, trying to clean it up with the water.
What do you mean by grinding it into the wood?
You can think of wood as a bundle of straws. That's why wood is absorbent, is because the straws suck up moisture from the edges, but also they can suck things up from the surface of the wood between the wood fibers. And if you fill that with glue, then you'll have to sand all of that glue off before you can put any finish on the wood because it won't absorb the finish. So I'm trying to clean the glue off with the wet rag rather than just scrubbing it into the wood fibers.
That's a good tidbit to know.
Yeah. I'm not doing the other side. It really doesn't matter that much because once this glue is dry, you can just scrape it off with a scraper, and I'm going to sand this anyway. Okay, so we got to let this dry for a few hours. In the meantime, let's make our breadboard ends. Is that going to be... That is exactly long enough.
Nice.
Do I have any more birch down here? I thought I did. Oak, 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 maple, oak.
What's your favorite wood to work with?
That I've worked with so far is got to be probably the birch or the cherry, which I've worked with a little bit making cutting boards.
Okay.
Can I get 4 inches out of this? I can. All right. All my bits. Let's talk about let's talk about how breadboard ends work and what they're supposed to do. All right, so we've got this big wide panel, right? And we've done everything we can to get it nice and flat. We want it to stay nice and flat. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a couple pieces of wood on the ends of the panel. We're going to cut a long mortise along here and a long tenon along here. And we're going to put it on there, not with glue, but with pegs in such a way that this will stay snugged up against the panel. And then these pieces of wood will keep the panel from cupping as the wood moves. What we got to do now is cut these mortises. And we're going to do that with plunge router.
You said a mortise and a tenon?
Yeah, a mortise is when you're joining two pieces of wood. One of the very traditional ways to do that is called a mortise and tenon, which is basically a peg on one piece of wood and a slot for that peg to fit into. So they go together. The peg is called a tenon. The hole is called a mortise.
Okay.
Many, many different ways to cut mortise and tenons.
I'm learning a lot today.
So now I get to try to remember how to set this thing up.
Good save.
Alright, I need that. That. I need the wrench. And I need 1/4-inch upcut bit. I wanted the fence on this side because the trigger is going to be on this side. And I have to pull the trigger, plunge the thing down, and pull it back. And I want the fence on this side. Okay. This is the second time I have used this particular machine. I think I've got a pretty good handle on it. In theory. But I haven't had a lot of practice. Whoop, yep, there we go. Fence goes on like that. Where is the center mark? I'm eyeballing this because I'm a fool. But it'll be fine. It'll be great. All right. What am I looking for, Whit?
I don't know.
Tape measure.
Tape measure. Oh, okay.
How wide did this end up being? 15.5. So let's mark. The practice woodworkers are looking at me going, what the hell are you doing?
I'm sure they've been there too.
Oh yeah. We said 15.5. Oh, so let's say that we want to start our mortise about 1 inch in from the edges. So we're gonna cut the mortise from here to here. You with me?
Let's do it.
All right, so here's what we're doing. Here to here. I should put this on here.
Now what is that?
Because this dust is building up and I can't see anything.
Oh no.
All right, we're gonna try this again, now with dust collection. So I can see what the hell I'm doing. So, all right, let's do it. not working great, but it's better than nothing.
We having a sucking problem?
We are having a sucking problem. Obviously, more tape is the solution. Well, the dust collector needs a new lid.
Aw.
So for now, we're just going to bypass it and go directly into the shop vac.
Okay.
Okay. And there we go. 2 long, inch-deep mortises. Should be about an inch, right? Yeah, look at that. Exactly an inch.
Nice.
That's what we're trying for.
Recording.
All right, let's get this off here. All right, we got our panel. Let's can't knock some of this glue off. Where is? Oh come on! I just had that thing.
What thing?
This thing.
Oh, found it.
Putty knife. This is not strictly necessary. All of this is going to get sanded, of course. But I want to run it through the table saw to clean up these edges, and I screwed up my glued on patch there. Oh well. And I just don't want any of these big blobs getting in the way. Drafting square. What's the best way to do this? Will this fit on the crosscut sled? So that would be the easiest way to do it. fit? Hey, it
Hey.
just fits. Oh, that's gonna be a little bit fun to control. It's pretty well lined up. It'll give us a straight edge, which is all we really need. This is mostly a practice project, after all. This is not a permanent solution, but it'll work for the time being. Wear your mask.
Got it.
All right. Where's that switch? Okay, what's next? Somebody on a scooter, maybe an RC cart. All right, next thing is we're gonna cut these tenons that are gonna fit into these mortises we cut. And we're gonna do that on the router table over here. Now we're gonna need the fence. Now this, if you look in here, it's basically the same tool that we used to cut the mortises, except this one's mounted upside down in a table, so you can use a fence with it like a table saw. And this particular router was a birthday gift from my mother.
Aw, fancy.
All right, so we cut a 1/4-inch mortise. So we're looking to leave a 1/4-inch or maybe just a little shy of a 1/4-inch tenon. You'll see what we're doing. So I'm gonna put this right here next to the bit. And raise it up. About like there, and we'll see where that puts us. Dang it, that was much too much of a cut.
Oops.
Yeah, you see how much play there is in that?
Yep.
I cut that too small.
Oops.
This is why should have made a test cut.
Aw.
That, what I just did there, that was a dumb thing. Always make a test cut. All right. See, and that's too little. Almost. Just another skosh. You see? See how
Oh,
close
yeah.
we are?
Yep.
All right. Okay, yeah, that's what we're looking for. Before we continue, I'm going to try to knock down these glue blobs on the other side also. Because they're going to get in the way otherwise. There is a better tool for this. I'm yelling because we both have headphones on. I don't need to yell in the camera. There's a better tool for this, which is this heavy-duty paint scraper with a carbide blade on it. I keep meaning to get one.
That sounds useful.
Yeah, well, I don't have one now. So, putty knife will have to do. All right, that should be flat enough for government work. Back over here. We cut these an inch deep. So these want to be just shy of an inch. So I'm setting a marking gauge for 7/8 of an inch. And I'm going to run a line. Right along there like that. Okay, so that is as wide as my tenon is going to be. Move the fence back. Move, come on. Move, please. Thank you. Oh, Hank. Wear your mask. And you hop over your nose.
Okay.
This thing kicks off a lot of dust, and we don't have the vacuum up there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I pulled it up halfway through.
It's easy to forget,
Yeah.
but it's important. What a mess this is making. Stay tuned for another shop cleaning body doubling video at some point. Because, boy, this place needs it. Yeah, that's going to be nice and snug. We're going to do clip off the wings, which we're going to do with the handsaw.
All right.
This is my waist, and I'm being very careful to keep my saw blade on the waste side of my line.
Do I need to move over the other side?
I need to move over to the other side because this is wobbling around too much.
Oh, okay.
It's not on the... All right, and get a chisel.
You got 10% battery left.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
I think we're gonna stop here pretty soon. That's awful chisel technique, by the way. Don't, you see this? Don't do this. I can do it because I'm an idiot. No, I shouldn't do it. Just trying to clean this up a little bit. Although, this is why you are careful with chisels. These are very sharp blades. If you've got them, if you take care of them correctly, they're going to be very sharp blades. So I'm going to put a little bit of on the edges of our tenon. Everybody in the comments, tell me what I'm doing wrong with my chisel. I have bad chisel technique because, well, I'm a beginner. Chisel toward your body, Hank. Just said that. Okay, now we see if we get that. I think that's gonna work.
Beautiful.
Let's do the other side. And I think that'll be quitting time for today. This is my only handsaw right now. I don't have any Western style handsaws. That's not true. I've got a bone saw around here somewhere, but I don't really use that for woodworking.
What do you use it for?
Sawing through bones. What do you think of it? Uh-oh. May have to shave just a 1/16 of an inch off the length of our tenon on this side. That is not a big deal.
Oh.
Let me show you. One of the things I love about this yellow birch is the color gradations. I think this might be a line between the sapwood and the heartwood.
Okay.
And the heartwood is darker, but I'm not sure. I just love this color.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah. We're back. I'm Hank. This is HankArt, and we are hopefully finishing up this drawing board project today. So here's what we got to do left. We've got our panel. We've got the mortises and tenons cut out for our battens on the side. I want to put a pencil ledge on here, and I'm probably going to do that with, yeah, this is the last of the birch I have. I'm going to rip this rough edge off and then take a little slice like that and glue that on the end. And then when we cut these battens to size, we will cut them off a little proud of the end of the panel, so that they also cover the edge of the pencil edge. What else do we need to do? We gotta put the threaded inserts on the back for the VESA mount, and then it's finishing touches. So, let's get to it. Good. All right, we got our vacuum fixed. Where is this thing? Ah. Safety gear.
Always wear safety gear.
Here's what we're going to do. Instead of just gluing this onto the edge like this and having this wee little lip here, I'm going to cut a rebate, or a rabbet. We're American, so I should say rabbet. This is the danger of learning from the internet, is you get both the British and American versions of everything.
What was the British version?
A rebate. When you take a little notch out of the edge of a board, that is called a rebate or a rabbet. Rabbet is actually the traditional American way to say it, but I don't know, because I'm such an Anglophile nerd, rebate is what comes into my head first. And I'm yelling into the camera because I'm wearing headphones again. I'm also just as likely to say bonnet as I say hood. It's not a thing I'm proud of. Okay. Yeah, and we'll do that on the router table just like we did the just like we cut the tenons. So I need a marking gauge, which I'm going to set to the width of my little board here. I know I've used this before in this project. Have I explained this?
Not really.
All right, this is a marking gauge. It's got this fence on it, and then it's ruled, of course, in inches and centimeters on the other side. And then on the very business end, it's got a rolling blade here. So I can set it to the distance I want to, like if I want to mark a parallel line against an edge, then I set it to where I want that line to be. And then, what did we decide? We decided this is the front, and this is the top, although I guess top and bottom don't really matter that much right now. So let's make this the top. So, marking gauge set. Come here, get this in close.
Awesome.
I just put the fence up against the edge of the board, press in a little bit, and I can...
Oh yeah, I see the line.
strike a line that I know is perfectly parallel to that edge. And I also know that it is exactly the width of this little board that I just made, because I set the marking gauge to the size of the board. This is the thing you learn quick in woodworking, is measurements are not necessarily your friend. You don't build to a certain, like, 2 3/8 inches. No, you measure the actual piece you're working with and use that as the gauge to mark your other pieces. What were we doing? Oh, we're cutting through that.
I don't know, but that was a good tidbit to know.
Yeah. This is a tip to my hobbyist woodworker friends who have time to explore other hobbies. One of the things that I'm really interested in is skills that cross disciplines. The time I've put in to learning how to draw and measure by eye, I can tell that I'm using those same mental muscles when I estimate where the center of a board is, or like compare two lengths by eye. So if you want to get better, I mean, you should always measure. You should always mark, you should always double check. Measure twice, cut once is true. But if you want to get better at estimating distances by eye, there's worse training you can do for that than learning how to draw from observation. I really do think that those two sets of mental muscles are very closely related.
Because it's going to be easier to plane down this edge than it would be to plane down this wall right into it. I think that's good. Amazing. Excellent.
Beautiful.
All right. Don't let me snap at you like that. What was that?
I don't know. It didn't offend me. I thought it was a director type thing, you know? Like,
If I'm doing this at you, bam.
Okay, I'll remember that. And we'll get it on video too.
Do it. Excellent. All righty.
What do I need? Whitney, my dear, do you have a penny on you?
I do not.
Phooey.
I have like
Washers.
400 in my car.
Well, I have little washers.
All right. I'm not actually going to glue this in yet. We got to do the battens first.
All right. I've been out here just playing around with this a little bit, not really working on it. I don't want you to miss anything. What's left to do? We got to put our breadboard ends on. I want to put a bevel, I think a bevel or a chamfer or something around the whole thing just so it's more comfortable on the hands.
Right.
Everything else is going to happen first, and then the last thing that's going to happen is this is going to get glued in. Let me sort of organize my space here for a second. All right, next thing to happen is our breadboard ends. So let's talk about how breadboard ends work. Come over. Can you see this?
Yep.
All right. So here's our panel, and here's our breadboard end, okay? And we're gonna lock it in place with a dowel, but we're gonna drill the hole for the dowel on our tenon here, offset in such a way that when we put the dowel in, it will force the two pieces of wood together and like lock them in place.
Very nice.
So the hole on the tenon needs to be offset further in toward the panel than the holes on the breadboard ends are. And this is the thing that I got wrong when I was building this prototype. I made the holes further out than further in so that the thing was forced apart.
Oops.
Well, that's why we build a prototype.
That's right.
So, I gotta cut this off. Trying to decide. Not quite fitting perfectly snug. That's okay. I just want to make sure I've got it as close to snug as I can get it. This is the back. You can see this gap here.
Yeah.
I think I might take a very tiny slice off the end of the tenon to see if I can't get that closer in there.
Okay. That was a very little bit indeed.
It was a very little bit, yeah. But this is what we're talking about.
Look at that.
Yeah, I think either the tenon or the mortise was not cut exactly straight.
What do we got there?
Combination square.
Hmm.
So what do we got? Our
Pardon me. Our tenon starts an inch in from the end. So let's measure 3 inches in. And that's where we will put our hole on this side. So that's going to be there. There. And marking these on the board too. 9.5. What's half of 9.5? Half of 9 is 4.5, so 4 3/4.
4 3/4.
Put it there.
Time to trim.
time to trim.
Time to
We're going to
trim.
the table saw.
All right.
Gonna do this marking gauge thing again.
It's one of my favorite little tools you have.
Yeah, I love this thing. Straight line right there. Right there. Right there. What a mess. Don't eyeball it. What the hell are you doing? Alright. This drill press is supposed to have a laser sight on it.
Okay.
I got it secondhand, of course, and the laser's not in it. Keep meaning to get a replacement for it. One of those things. I'll get around to it.
I didn't know they had lasers on them.
Uh-huh.
Cool.
There's supposed to be a laser in this hole right here that you can turn on and off.
Well, that's pretty cool.
No laser, so I just have to do it without pew-pew lasers. Pew-pew laser beams.
No pew-pew laser beams.
Oh, jokey. I don't know if stopping the drill like that is good or bad for the drill. It's
Yeah.
probably very dangerous. I probably shouldn't do it.
Oops.
I will do it again. If I'm doing something obviously wrong and you catch it,
Okay.
it's entirely up to you whether you want to tell me or not.
Okay. Seems like the right thing to do.
I think it depends on how much time we have for that particular project.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
If we've got plenty of time, just go ahead and let me make a fool of myself.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's really not straight. That's not straight at all.
Let's get a good shot at this here.
Look at that gap.
Oh, yeah.
That's precision. Okay. I am going to find where our circles are. Remember that the circles on the tenon, the holes in the tenon, want to be closer to the panel than the holes on the breadboard ends. Don't screw it up, Hank.
And why is that? Is that for a tighter grip?
It's so when we shove the dowel through there, the holes will attempt to line up, and that will lock the breadboard ends into the panel without having to glue it.
Okay.
Because we're gonna put like a dab of glue here in the middle, but we're not gonna glue the rest, because the whole point of putting these breadboard ends on is to keep the panel straight, but still allowing the wood to move with the humidity.
Gotcha.
We could just glue it all together, and with the way modern wood glue is, it could probably be fine, but traditional wood glues tended to be either hide glues or tree resins, stuff like that tends to get a lot brittler as it cures. And so if you just glue everything together, over time, as the wood swells and shrinks, the glue would fail and your thing would fall apart in 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years. Modern PVA wood glue is I think it's formulated to not get quite as brittle depending on which one you're using. So I think you're safer just using glue in more situations than you would traditionally. But why take the chance? These are techniques that have been perfected over literally hundreds and thousands of years since people have been working with wood. probably still a good idea. You know, woodworking is a very mature technology. I've never used hide glue for woodworking, but I have used it in oil painting.
Oh.
The traditional way to prepare a canvas is first to size the canvas. In this case, sizing means sealing it with rabbit skin glue, which is horrible goopy stuff that you have to use in a double boiler.
Oh, wow.
And it stinks. So you size the canvas with rabbit skin glue, and then you cover it with a oil-based ground that is like a very thick oil paint.
Okay.
Traditional gesso for canvases were oil and marble dust.
Oh, wow.
Or they would mix marble dust into the rabbit skin glue and use that as the size. And then the marble dust would give you a brilliant white ground with tooth in it that would grab the paint.
That's pretty clever, actually.
Yeah. It's not how they usually do it anymore.
How do they do it?
They make acrylic gesso now, which is basically just a thin white acrylic paint. And usually you use that directly on the canvas.
Okay.
Acrylic gesso is horrible goopy stuff also, but it's ready to use right out of the jar. The technology of painting, just like everything else, has changed drastically and very rapidly over the last 300 years as it's become industrialized. And where we were using all of these traditional materials that do degrade over time, but that we do know when you make a painting with it, it'll last hundreds of years. Suddenly, we're making paintings with these plastic-based acrylic emulsions and PVA glue sizes and all of these unproven materials. So the oil and acrylic paintings that get done today, we'll see what they look like in 50, 100, 200 years. Hopefully they're still around. Now, there's a whole discipline of art preservation and restoration that's dedicated to keeping this stuff nice, but like the paintings that Jackson Pollock was doing back in the 40s and 50s with the house paint, all of his wonderful splatter paintings, those are all falling apart.
Oh, wow. Oh, no.
All of the plastic stuff that sculptors were doing at mid-century, last century, all of that stuff is like off-gassing and losing its color. And,
oh, wow. Well, that's sad.
Well, it is sad. It is sad. But that's the risk you take when experimenting with new materials.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to set my little gauge here, actually. Let's use this again. And set my little gauge so that the center point of where I'm going to drill these is just going to be slightly in from the center of these holes. Here,
Okay.
get a look at this. See where I'm going to be marking?
Yep.
It's barely in from the center.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I need to build a better drill press table at some point. What the heck is this?
What's going
Is
on?
this not tightened down at all?
Oh, no.
Hank, what are you doing? I'll bet that's not square. Where's that other square? Yeah, it's close enough.
Close enough?
It's close enough.
All right.
Very soon, I'm going to have to take a day and go through and like recalibrate and tune up all of these machines because I haven't done it, well, pretty much since I set anything up.
Yeah.
So,
Are
what
you
was I doing?
drill pressing.
Oh, what a lot of trouble. That's the ticket. Thrill as Hank fiddles with a board for an hour and a half. God dang it.
Put some dramatic music there.
There we go.
Awesome.
Oh, I hope I'm getting these in far enough. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Walk around this way. Might trip on the hose.
Be careful.
Can't be tripping on hose.
Don't trip on hose. So we got 6 holes. So let's do 3 of these dowels.
Okay. Is this just a little trick of yours, or?
Oh, I'm sure other people have done this. Let's. Stick one of these by my drafting table.
Yeah, right?
Close enough.
All right. Fun.
We're all about fun here. All right, so what do we need? We need a little bit of glue. Is there any liquid glue left in there? No?
No.
That's disgusting.
Oh, no.
Pesto. Delicious. Okay, I'll clean that out at some point. There we go. Glue palette. Are we ready to do this?
Are we?
No.
Oh.
No, I wanted to round these corners.
Love that smell. I love that smell.
It's great, isn't it?
This one goes on this side. Okay, so. Gonna do a little dab of glue in the middle. Is that going through?
Going through?
No.
No?
Well, I'm just
Oops.
breaking the dowel.
Not going through?
Not going through. Not coming back out either.
Oh.
So, use one of these.
Oh, it's poking through. Just didn't want to go through, huh?
Yeah. Let's try. Unreal. Yeah.
That's getting somewhere.
That is getting somewhere. Have it through like that. What we're going to do about this one is try to stick him back together. Yes.
Awesome.
Is it elegant? No. Is it working? Also, maybe no. No, that's not working at all.
Not working? Oh.
No. I may have to drill this one out and replace it.
Okay.
But we'll see. You know, I was worried about these being offset too little.
Yeah.
I'm afraid they may end up getting offset
Too much?
Too much.
Oh, no.
You know what? It's not the end of the world.
Well, we
Tiny files.
Tiny files, huh?
Tiny files coming to the rescue. What was that we were saying about making really good time?
Oops.
Whoops. Do I have this half round? Yes. Those are too fine to do anything. Are they all that fine? No. These are coarser on this side. It's barrel shaped. I feel like that's doing nothing.
Oh, yeah?
Well, let's try it.
Okay.
Thank you.
How's that one looking?
Not great. We can fix it. Might have to attempt some magic with some wood filler. It's okay.
It's all right.
It's good.
Coming along nicely.
Thank you. Oh yeah, this side's gonna go.
Oh, yeah. Excellent.
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent. I don't have any water.
Water. Yeah, I guess we brought caffeine, but not the water, huh?
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, what's really important anyway? And we still have this big gap in the back.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about it. It's in the back.
Yeah, I say it's not too bad.
Yeah.
You said it's in the back?
Yep.
It's fine.
So what's left to do? We gotta put the threaded inserts in the back for the VESA mount. We've gotta put in the pencil edge, and then other than that, it's just sanding and finishing.
Excellent.
So this is the home stretch now.
Awesome.
Okay. Home stretch. So we are putting VESA mount on the back of this because the whole point is so I have a drawing board that I can move around because I do all my drawing in front of the computer, you know, and I do a lot of drawing just on the desk, but sometimes I want to be able to get it up in front of me. So that's what the point of this whole project is. I need straight edge. I'm just gonna put an X on the back here to find the center. And then I've got the actual VESA mount arm. And I'm gonna just get this lined up. One, two. Three, four. What did I do? Brass. Well, not really brass. Some kind of vaguely brass colored metal. It's purple. Threaded inserts that we're gonna put in there. See if that's gonna do it. Oh. So I'm gonna be a little bit too small. Well, that's no good. This is why we test in scrap wood. Oh wow, that's gonna get completely destroyed.
Oh no.
Yep. Well, the threads are in there at least.
Yeah, that's good at least.
I guess. Let's drill the rest of these holes.
Okay.
Sure would like to be able to get that out of there. I don't think it's going to happen though. These little M4 screws
Okay.
that fit in these threaded inserts. And what we're going to try to do, we're going to try to use Like crusty, dried up super glue.
It's the best kind of super glue.
Very wasteful. Alright.
Alright, we'll see.
I don't think it's gonna work.
Oh.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah, it's a valiant effort.
Hey. It's close enough to 5 minutes. Let's see what we got. Come on. Ah!
It works!
It works!
It works!
It works!
Woo! Yeah, awesome.
Check that out. All right.
Good job.
All right.
Hey. Success.
You're done for an hour or so.
All right.
Got it sanded to the point where I'm ready to put my pencil edge in there. Yeah, that's gonna fit in there just like that. All right, I'm gonna put a spring clamp here. And a spring clamp here.